Hey there. Welcome to Have You Asked Your Dad? This is the podcast where myself, Terence Mentor, and my co-host, Sean Lewitz, ask questions to dads that they don't normally get asked. Today is a very special episode. It's significantly longer because we had a brilliant guest join us. This was a conversation we had with Bert le Clos. You may know him. That name might sound familiar because he's the father of Chad le Clos, Olympic and international gold medal swimmer. He is a pride of South Africa and he's the pride of his father. This was a really great conversation we had with Bert, where we spoke about showing emotion as a dad and really what it's like raising a champion. So here's that conversation with Bert le Clos. So we're both dads. We're both dads to young kids. So finding time for the two of us to get together is it's always exciting and it's always a bit nerve-wracking. So
yes, I understand.
Yes, you've been there. You've been around the block.
And not only I'm still there because I've got my grandkids.
Of course.
So I have four kids and four grandkids. So the last one is my little twin god. She hates me and she takes advantage of me, and I buy her a present every single time I see her. I've been gone for nearly 2 months. Not a person has got a present except her.
What's the saying? Grandparents are like a piece of string, useful to have around and easily wrapped around the fingers of their grandchildren.
So let me tell you about the grandparents as a being father. When you now, you got a little girl, a little boy.
I have two little boys, 6 and 7.
So he's little boys. So when he comes here and he puts his finger in the butter or he puts his fingers in the sugar, you tell him, my boy, you can't do that, or give him a smack or put him in time out, however you discipline your lattes.
Sure.
Go in 30 years' time. You know what you'll do? You'll take the butter and you'll put it into the hand of your granddaughter. It's because you know why? They're only here for the weekend. They're only here for the You don't have to live with it. Say, Dad, you can't get her sleep in the bed. You can't do this. I said, Bianca, I'm not going to discipline her.
What was the other saying? I mean, I'm full of sayings, but it's as a parent, you can either spoil your kids and discipline your grandchildren, or you can discipline your kids and spoil your grandchildren. So you're very much in that second phase.
It should be the latter. It should be, you spoil your grandchildren, because
exactly
when your little boy turns 16 and he wants to smoke a Zol, or he wants to take a tablet, or he wants to take a line of coke, and it's real. Please don't. That's his love. You must be able to handle that, and you must know how to handle that. Because I know some parents that, oh no, my boy did never do nothing. They finish on crack,
Yep.
You understand? It's no, really. You mustn't be blind to your kids, to your boys. You what I had a saying when my kids were growing up. The kids are guilty till they prove their innocence. No such thing.
Whoa. Sean, you've just joined us. I honestly, it's impossible not to get wisdom from Bert. I was like, let's just wait until Sean arrives, and it's actually I'm so sorry, that was my fault.
What a place to join the conversation. What did you just say about crack? What did I miss?
So one day when your kids, how old are your kids?
5. I have 1, 5.
Yeah, 5. So he's going to come say hello. So he's going to one day grow up like these mongrels here. Come look. Come look. Say hello. He's a bit injured now.
Hey.
Mr. le Clos, how are you? How you doing?
Chad.
No, not bad. Just a bit of a knee.
Your dad was complaining that you've disrespected him while he was cooking supper for you. So
every day. What do you mean? Not once?
No, never.
These things here, as I feed them, and they start with that nonsense with me, and it drives me up the wall. But anyway, going back to the crack story. So if you think that your little boy or your little girl is as innocent as you think you are, that you just believe your daughter or your son, well, I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to give you the answer now. You are going to be in a huge amount of trouble. And I know of somebody who my sister went to them and said, listen, your son is like he's doing hardcore drugs.
Mm.
He said, bullshit, you're jealous. And he went on and on. Anyway, cut a long story short, a month or two later, he had to intervene, had to send him to rehab. He was on crack. He was really in and you know what? It's the parents that make that happen. Because if you think that these things here behind me are innocent, they are not. Don't you remember when you were young?
I'm innocent.
Innocent. Oh my God.
So, yeah, I think my mom thinks I'm innocent, but you're right. I know better. I know what I got up to. I know the nonsense that I
I
did.
can see you know better. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
You know, I mean, Bert, this podcast is very much about parents and how they deal with the mental, the emotional, the physical strain that kids take. And I'm be honest with you, looking at your Instagram and all your things, I was like, Bert has definitely got to be the freewheeling, fun-loving, happy-go-lucky. He just takes it in his stride. And now I'm learning that you are like, whoopah!
Oh, yeah. You see,
Yeah.
I'm going to explain. I've done all the bad things.
Okay.
I was growing up, and we came from Mauritius, and my mom was an angel, and she didn't know nothing in those days. And when we used to smoke a little this or a little that, she said to me, Bertrand, my name is Bertrand, in French, please do not smoke daga. It's very bad for you. And I thought, well, I was young, and all the boys in the area were doing it, and one day I did it. Well, I thought, what does my mom know? You understand? Because it was fun. We laughed, we giggled.
Excuse me, guys.
But anyway, you know, that's just the thing, is that my kids know what I've done wrong. And you know what? You must lead by example. So I tell people, and I've told many, many people around the world, that, wow, I'm a good father. I'm one of the best, purely because I only know what not to do, because I've done it all. So there's a huge difference. And like I said earlier on, I said to Terence that your kids are guilty until they prove their innocence. You know, I watch a little bit of Judge Judy, and she says, "How do you know when a teenager's lying? When they move their mouth." Half the kids are born today out of lies. You understand? Oh, what are you doing? Oh, no. Oh, I touched your daughter, sir. Boom, bang, jangle. How did you get pregnant? You know, really and truly. And that's, I mean, it sounds as crude as it sounds, but it's the truth. And the ones that think their children are the most innocent, those are the devil hunters.
Whew.
Okay.
I mean,
Are we
that,
gonna-
that, I mean,
Are we going to start?
I think we can start now. Bert, no, but seriously, it's really cool to be able to chat to you. So first off, a massive thanks for taking the time. Sorry that we've had to go back and forth with load shedding schedules and so forth. I'm glad we get to do this. So do you mind if we start, I mean, we're going to jump all over the place, but do you mind if we start by simply saying that you are often described as the Olympic Games' most famous dad? And it's such a pleasure to have you on the show. How did that moment for Chad and for you specifically in 2012, how did that change anything that happens in your household?
You know, the strange part of it all is that at the time we were in London, we didn't even know the cameras were on. We didn't know nothing. And then the interview came up, and the guy came up to me, and he said to me, "Would you like to come and get me?" I said, "Well, no problem, you know." And I came across, and I didn't know it was live, and I went on, and I said, like I said, unbelievable. And of course, if you are fortunate enough to one day have a gold medalist in anything, I'm going to tell you, I actually toned it down. I felt like doing somersaults, you understand? I mean, really and literally, it was truly unbelievable. I know it's a cliche, this unbelievable business, but it was. And then I got interviewed just after that by Ray Neakley, after I finished that interview. And he said to me, "Bert," just like this, a little interview for Supersport. And he said, "Bert, I just want to tell you, we knew each other." And he said to me, "Bert, your life will never be the same after today." And it hasn't been the same. You know, I've even lost 30 kilos since then. But, you know, my life has changed completely. And I can't do the things that I used to do, and I can't behave the things like, you know, I've got to calm my temper down. I've got to be nicer, because people look at me and say I'm a little bit of a role model. Well, my son is a role model, and I fit under his little umbrella. I mean, his big umbrella, my little umbrella, you know. And people, when we are together, people look at us and say, "Well, you know, it's a team event, you know, it's a team event when we are together. But look, it has changed it. I mean, look, no money. I told Richard Branson this. I said to Richard Branson, I said, Richard, I'm wealthier than you are. He paid for my lunch and he paid for my trip up to the lunch. And he looked at me in dismay, you know. I said, geez, what are you? And I said, what I have, you can't have. You can't buy. You know, you really can't buy. So it's been a privilege. And of course, and like I said, it has changed my life. I mean, upside down, really and truly, you know. But it's been a hell of a ride.
And in that moment, Bert, I mean, you're reacting to a incredibly joyful moment, as you've explained, and anyone in that moment would, you know, have that level of emotion, and even more so. You were saying you had to you reined yourself in a bit. Were you surprised at the reaction to your reaction, because the world looked at you and went, "Oh, here's a dad who's he's overtly emotional about his son's success." Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, because. But I mean, I don't know. Of course I'm surprised. What do you expect? Our son just beat the greatest Olympian of all time. It's unbelievable. It's mind-boggling. You know, I told this on BBC a few years later. And I said, you know, if I had been English, I said, hello, yes, my name is. I'd like to congratulate Mark. It was a great race. But Chad just got up and was said, lucky touch. It's not like that. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I come from Mauritius. I've got blood here. I'm sorry. You know, I love the English, and the English made me a little bit famous. You know, I'm more famous than. By the way, Richard Branson gave me a T-shirt. A father that's more famous than his son, and he gave Chad a T-shirt. The boy that loves gold. So just like, we had lunch with him, you know. But look. Going back to your question, I mean, it's in your wildest dreams. I could never ever expect to finish like I did, like I am now, the position that I'm in. You know, I mean, it's incredible, you know. And like Mandela said, the power of sport it's. You know, I'm in a meeting in Switzerland, and the president of the IOC, President Bach, he turned around and said after the Winter Games, he said, only sport could have stopped the war in Korea, North and South Korea, for 10 days whilst they both participated in the Winter Olympics. No president, no money, nothing. Sport did that. And that Kim, whatever his name is, Stop Fire or whatever they do. I'm not too clever myself. They went to school. Don't know history. I don't know nothing. I just know unbelievable. That's all. And enjoy it.
What do you think? And I'm going to ask you to speak on behalf of Chad now. What do you think it meant for Chad? You know, in that moment, he's also overcome, completely overwhelmed with what he's achieved. He turns and he looks at his dad, and his dad is almost equally feeling that for him. How do you think exactly? How do you think that made him feel? What was his?
Ask him. Bring him here. Where's Chad? Ask him how he felt. Chad,
is he okay with that?
This is a 2-for-1 sort of special. We weren't expecting this.
Yeah, I don't want to put him on the spot.
I'll tell you, it was for me. It was. I mean, I was sobbing and I held the flag in the wrong way, and I was wiping my tears on the flag. You know, and they said, "You can't do that." One of those politicians, you know, the ministers of the ANC or whatever, came to us, you can't do that, and you're holding the flag upside down. I said, leave me alone, man. I was rubbing on the red or whatever it was. You can't rub your flag. He wants to ask you a question. Sure.
Chad, thanks for popping in again. I just want to know, when you're in that moment, you've done this insane achievement that, you know, literally we can only dream of, most normal human beings like myself and Sean, and you're, I'm assuming, completely overwhelmed, completely overjoyed, like, you know, emotion coming out of you, and then you turn and you see your dad also reacting in that in outwardly emotional big way. What did that mean for you to see your dad respond like that?
No, it was incredible. I mean, you're referring to London. I think, look, I didn't see my dad till a few days later. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, because it was 20,000 people. But
no, was that night?
But no, I didn't see that night.
No, the next time.
I saw him like 3 days later because I still had some races, and I kind of shut everything off, you know, before and during the competition. But for me, no, since then, my dad's become a celebrity. You know what I mean? So we see him all the time, and it's amazing because it's how every parent should be, you know. Like I've said, it's amazing. You know, I'm blessed to have a father like I do.
Oh, don't make me cry now, please. Don't start that.
No, honestly, like I have an amazing, both my parents, you know, like even my mom. I mean, you bring my mom here. I mean, she's the like absolute warrior, you know, like behind the shadows, you know what I mean? And like she doesn't get enough credit for that, I think. But like with my dad, I think you just see that, and it gives you a booster to know that he's in the stands. Usually it's my dad and my mom and my brother somewhere. You know, it's really amazing. And I think, you know, you could, like you say, you can only dream of that stuff. But I also was like that, you know. I only dreamt of that stuff until it happened. You know what I mean? Like I didn't think it would happen until it happened. So it's all a dream still. I mean, I wanna get there again.
We're coming again.
So that's what
It's Paris. So, let it be known.
Yeah. So you know, it's a tough one because you have to balance things. You know, you have to balance things in your life. But I think, yeah.
I'm interested here now, Chad, seeing as you're sitting there, but Bert, also for you. So many guys are raised to shut off their feelings and to hide their emotions. And I think this might have been what Terence is trying to get at. In your case, Bert, you are openly and outwardly expressing your emotions. And that was so heartwarming for so many people around the world to see. And for Chad, you say you didn't see your dad during that time, but maybe you know him to be an exceptionally emotional being.
Oh, I knew it was going to happen. Oh, mate, I knew that was going to happen. Like, I'm talking about world champs. You must remember, I won the world title in 2010. In my matric year, and I remember how my dad was behaving. You know that day. You know? So no, I knew what was happening. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wasn't like, oh, I don't know what's happening. Like, I knew exactly what was going on when I touched that ball, and I knew both my parents and my brother was somewhere in the stands. It was amazing. You know, I think exactly what you said. I think a lot of people don't. You know, I hate it when people come along after winning Olympic golds and you just see them. I mean, you saw it even in the turn of fly. My race, you know, the guy just touched the wall and he just, you know, I don't know what you're trying to prove. Like, for me, I understand being stoic and being a different persona before the race, you know, to shut out other people or to intimidate someone else. I understand that that's all part of gamesmanship, whatever people want to do, that's no problem. But once you win it, once you lift the World Cup, once you win the gold medal, I mean, like, come on.
Emotion must come out.
Let's not pretend like this is not a big deal. Don't act like it's not a big deal. You know what I'm trying to say? For me, I can promise you 99% of people, it's the happiest day of their life, right?
Oh, yes.
When you win an Olympic gold medal as a swimmer, because swimming is not like other sports where you have other opportunities to shine on that global stage. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, yeah, I've won world titles, I've won Commonwealth Games titles, and yes, sure, those feel unbelievably great. But when you win the Olympics, it's something on another level because you know the whole world is watching, not just everyone in South Africa, but everyone around the world. And no one can take that moment away from you. You know what I'm saying? And people respect you. Wherever you go in the world, you tell them you're Olympic champion, you go to like places like Greece, Italy, Hungary. I mean, they respect you like you can't believe. You know, unfortunately, sometimes in South Africa, I feel like we have a big culture of supporting everyone, but only once we've won. You know what I'm trying to say? Overseas, in some places, especially in like swimming-related countries, it's unbelievable. Italy, phew, it's unbelievable. I've never seen that in my life. I can't even go to Italy some places because it's just 5, 6, 7, 8,000 people waiting outside.
I think I remember seeing your Instagram story recently where you were standing on a balcony, and I was like, what are they doing? That's insane. Yeah.
Exactly. I got them to sing that Ale, Ale, Ale.
Yeah.
I started jumping like this, you know what I mean? Like we won the league, you know, like you're lifting the Champions League, you know?
Yeah.
That is incredible.
It's great. You know, it's just, I see it so many times with so many people, like, you know, people achieving great things and they don't celebrate it because they think it's not cool or they think it's
cool.
It's not appropriate. But I don't understand. For me, it's like nothing is better than that. Like, I'll openly say that. I'll cut my right hand off to win Olympic gold. No,
you cut my own.
Okay, but you're going to need that right hand for the touch, so please don't do that.
Yeah,
cut mine as well.
Cut Bert's hand. Go for Bert's hand.
Cut my hand off, no problem. I say it often. Cut both my legs off. I don't care. As long as my kids.
But maybe that's why everyone was so happy to see both Chad, your reaction and Bert's reaction is because we're like, finally we're seeing people react appropriately to this immense big deal. They're reacting in the way we would react in that moment, and you were watching that from, all the way in South Africa, watching that, it was like, oh, those are human beings just like me, having this insane moment, and it almost made me feel like, oh, it could. If that could happen to normal human beings just like me, then it could happen to me. Well, not to me at that point. I was way past my prime. But for my son or for someone who I know, or it's real. You made it real.
Gives you hope.
Gives me. That's the word. That's the word. Hope.
It gives you hope. And
absolutely.
When people see us, I'll tell you what happened. One day, myself, I don't know if Chad remember, we were in Woolworths in Kloof and Durban, and we were playing the fool and tickling and all that. And I swear to God, old man said to me, hey, are you guys, I see you guys on TV and they say about, are you guys that, I see you guys playing the fool. Nobody's around. It's not, same thing. My family and us, as a matter of fact, we've got to tone it down. That's what I said to you earlier. I've got to turn it down in front of the people. My daughter, I'll tell you a story. My daughter and my grandkids, they said to me, Dad, this is not Bert le Clos. These guys are playing soccer at Stella and Durban. Anyway, I said, Dad, please don't come screaming and shouting for them. This and they kick the ball, this, that. I got within 2 yards of the touchline. I arrived a little bit late. They were playing, and Rocco, one of my grandchildren, got the ball. I stopped shouting before I even got to the byline. She said, Dad, you promised me. It's been like that all my life. I've been like that all my life with it. It is what it is,
So then take us back to somewhere in the beginning then, Bert. Have you always wanted to be a father? And maybe what was your dad like? What was that experience like for you?
We came 10 of us from Mauritius, poor. Those days, 50, 60 years ago, 10 kids. My dad could hardly speak English. He had got a little job, and I'm telling you, we battled. And he never came to see us. He worked 7 days a week. Bless his soul, he fed those big, ugly guys. He fed us. And you know what? And I made it my duty that I would never miss my sons and my grandchildren. And please believe me, I go to see my granddaughter doing ballet. She's got 4 left feet and elephant style, bang, bang, bang. She's got no idea. I sit through an hour and a quarter. But every time she looks up, she sees me standing, well done, well done. It goes back to when they were young. Even now, I go to a lot of their practices. I go to Jordan's practices in jiu-jitsu. I go to some of his practices in the pool. If there was ballet, I'd go to ballet. It is what it is. I've done it all from the get-go, and nothing got in my way. There's no such thing as telling me, "Oh, we're going to go to have a few drinks, or we're going to the job." No. After I've seen my kids swimming or doing jits, I'll meet you. You guys go. I'll see you later. The jits finish at 7 o'clock. I'll see you at 7:15, wherever we are.
It seems to be something that was instilled in you from a young age. It's something that you were going to do because it's something that your dad didn't do. It's sort of that overcorrection that we see. Yeah, couldn't do.
Yeah. He couldn't do it. And we're going to go back to the old saying, when I hear people, these evil people in the world, whatever they've done, they say, why did you do it? Oh, my dad did it to me. That's absolute nonsense. Your parents, we're all humans, so your father or your mother wasn't perfect, but you can take from them the goodness. And if they were, just hear me out, if they were hitting you with a stick or every day, then you say, well, I'm not going to hit my kids with a stick. So you try and change the evil and keep the good, because we all got good in us. If you, it is what it is. But it breaks my heart when I hear people, because they did this or that in the evil world. They say, oh, because this happened to me. Somebody did it to me, I'm doing it to somebody else. Absolute bullshit. Bombing kids and so on. Absolute nonsense.
Oh, Bert dropping the wisdom bombs all over the place today. I love it. So Bert, my oldest son Liam he's 7, so we're not pushing too far ahead, but he's already showing signs of being a good sportsman. I think we've had several coaches come to us and say, you're going to have to put him in like special academies because there's talent there.
What sports he play?
At the moment, cricket, soccer, hockey, rugby, and swimming.
Well, that for a start is a for one. Just now, Chad will tell you, he played soccer, all these games, all these sports, and then at a certain age, no coach will tell you that your son is going to, I want to just give you this advice. Now, no coach will tell you your son is going to make it in this world of sport. And no coach will tell you that your son or your daughter can't make it. Just remember, no kid is born a champion and no kid is born a drug dealer or a murderer. It's you people that do the bad things that don't bring your children up properly.
That's a lot of responsibility, but that's the truth. That's the truth about parenting.
What you should do is, I played a lot of sports when I was younger, but then we always said when we get to high school, that's the decision where we're going to go play cricket, we're going to go play rugby, we're going to play soccer. And make sure that you help him make that decision, what's going to be best for his future. Because I played soccer provincially for KZN up until I was 13. My dad helped me make the choice with swimming because he saw that I had a future with that.
I couldn't swim.
So don't be because you like soccer, don't force your son to play soccer.
Yeah.
Make sure
I'm
telling you because I've seen guys, I don't know names, but I've had guys that I've swum with my whole life who their families were rugby, and these kids, I'm talking not kids, 15, 16-year-olds were, youth Olympic champions, let's put it that way, right? World junior record holders, right? But they wanted to play rugby in the
trees. Their dad.
Or their dad wanted to play rugby, and he didn't love swimming. Sure, whatever you want to call it, but let me tell you something, right? You start winning, you start doing that, you're gonna start loving it, man. You know what I mean?
His first love was football.
My first love is soccer. It always will be. You know what I mean?
It's the only sport I know a little bit.
Yeah, and that's
I
my
played with Gordon
family. That's
Eggerson.
my family did.
Gordon Eggerson, all my family.
See, you interrupt me. You didn't let me talk.
But what I did want to find out from you, Chad. Sorry, but you guys look so close. You look exactly the same, so I get confused. What I was going to ask is when your children are growing up and you're seeing this talent and you're beginning to realize they get into high school and they actually are not just good for high school, but like truly exceptional on a world stage. How did you deal with that? Because doesn't that come with a lot of anxiety? Weren't you nervous about not capitalizing properly for them?
At the end of the day, you can ask anybody you like. From the time he was 10 years old, I was there when he was training. We started morning training at 5 o'clock. I'd be gambling all night, wherever. I used to have clubs and things those days. And I would leave and say, guys, I've got to go. Fetch them 4:45, sit there till 8 o'clock, take them all to school, come back, lunchtime, cook for them, boom, boom, steak, whatever, take them back to training afterwards. I was there the whole way. But I made it, like I said, I made that my life's goal. And Jordan is sitting here, by the way. Jordan is sitting here now. Even him, when he had his nationals in PE, I'd go with him. I'd just be with him now to Poland to go to a competition there. And, I go with him to training. They know. They all know. I fly, or if that's happening, I drove to Joburg. The last time he had a competition in Joburg. Because he's the jiu-jitsu now, So I go and watch that. When it starts strangling him on the floor, I want to jump on the oak's head and kick him. It is what it is. You know what jiu-jitsu is? The groundwork of the MMA.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen a jiu-jitsu match. I've watched some MMA, and I have watched parents of athletes in the ring sitting behind me, and I had to look away. I didn't know how they watched that. Jiu-jitsu, obviously, a little different, but the same experience for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and he chose this bloody sport,
Mm.
So originally they said to him, "Oh, you're going to go to MMA." My wife said, "If he goes to MMA, I'm leaving now." And so he stayed with the Jits,
She had some say there.
No, look, I wouldn't like it either,
Bert, it's clearly coming across that you are a family man. Family is the number one thing. Am I reading this correctly?
Absolutely not. The family is my sons, my children. Or number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, to 20. Then, with respect, my wife, my brothers, my sisters, and you know what? I expect my wife to behave the same thing. I want me to be 50th. Let her family get in between the 20 and the 50. For me, and I'm going to tell you, I've had a few wives myself, and I don't know if you've been divorced or you've had wives or you haven't had wives. It's not my business, but 52% of people get divorced. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something now. Your wife, touch wood, your wife doesn't leave you, or your wife did leave you, or I don't care. It's not this kind of a show. But I'm going to tell you only one thing. Your little boy is not leaving you. He's not leaving you. If you behave in a reasonably good manner, you don't have to be this champion. You just to behave like a human being, like a little bit of a father. And I've seen it just a little bit. I did a little speech in Kalaliche. There was a little gala there in Blue Downs in Cape Town. And it's a poor area. And it was quite a good turnout because Chad and myself were there. And it was quite a good. And I turned around and I said, I want to commend you guys here. This is part of the Cape Flats, I believe. And I said, there's a lot of drugs, a lot of killings, a lot of this, a lot of that. And I said the same thing. I said, no child is born a drug addict. No child. No child is born a murderer. No one's born a gangster. It's you people. I said, I'm so happy to see you guys here on a Saturday afternoon. I don't care if Liverpool is playing or Man United is playing or all your friends at the bar. You understand? This is the problem. This is the problem with this new world of ours. Well, it's been a problem for a long time, especially with the alcohol section, And I drink when I drink. Don't worry. I'm not saying I'm not an angel. But I'll only drink once I've done my duties as a father, if you know what I mean, or a grandfather. And that's all, just prior to us. You want to go to the bar, like I said earlier, you want to go to the bar to meet your mates. No problem. You want to go and meet Terence, go meet him. But make sure you fed your son, you've done as I say, get his home, whatever you guys do, whatever you do as a father. And then you can do whatever you like after that. And I promise you whatever you like. And no one can say anything,
Yeah, you don't have to walk around with that guilt of like, oh, I know I should be somewhere else. You can enjoy your time.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And again, I'm going to say, your life is not going to leave you. You said something just now. You said, oh, he's been gone to, he's got to feed the latte and cook and eat dinner. Whatever. And you know what? He's going to remember that. At one day, he's going to remember that.
Well, speaking of memories right here now, Bert, then do you have a really strong memory of each of your kids whilst growing up?
Yes. Yes and no.
Okay.
Chad hated me. Jordan was the stalker. Justin was see, I had 3 mothers. I had 2 wives before this. I've got a 44-year-old daughter from the first. And those days I was so good looking. If I just walked past your girlfriends, they would have passed out. Those days was one kiss and they were pregnant. Finished. It was so. But anyway, then I had my daughter. I was 19. I was 20 when I had my daughter. She's 44 now, and of course, it didn't last, because, And then I met the second one, and I met Justin. That didn't last. Now with this one, I've been with her 37 years. Jesus, that's a long time.
It's a long time. Congratulations.
Jesus, congratulations to her.
Well, that's what I meant.
No, me was plain sailing.
So there must be a lot of memories that just fill up your banks. So there must be so many, occasions and times. And
yes.
Do you enjoy any moments of nostalgia of looking back at and thinking of them when they were?
What do you mean? I sobbed my eyes out, man. You see, you must remember, I'm my father, when he was, my whole family's like that. At my daughter's 21st, my sisters had to leave. I was crying, everybody's sobbing like it's a funeral. On my mother's grave, I swear to God, on my kid's life. At my parties, Jesus, he's sitting here. 3 years ago, it was his 21st. I make a speech. It's all youngsters now. I said, fired up. I want to make the speech now. I'm going to cry. Because, because he's never drank. Jordan has never touched a drink, definitely not drugs. And I'm not one of those, he hasn't. He hasn't touched a drink, drugs. He never smoked. So, I've done everything, and I said something to the tune of this, and I was nice and fired up. And I said, one day when I'm a man, I want to be like him when I grow up. And that, I want to cry again, you see. I'm I'm telling you, you mustn't. When you ask me about these things, for me, it's very emotional for me. But I mean, very emotional. You know, to talk about emotion is when Chad won 2010. Chad won. I had some people that I hated because they did me in a business, and I hated a few people. And I'm in Dubai, 140 kilos of me, like this, like a bull. And I'll never forget, I had a blue shirt on, but a light blue. That's what I got on now. And he won the race. He beat the world record holder, the Olympic silver medalist, and the world champion in the next 3 lanes. My little boy at school won the world championship. What can I tell you? I start crying, half an hour. I can't stop crying. Now I've got a blue shirt, I'm like this. My whole shirt here was just wet from the tears. And I made it my duty. And I'm not the Christian type of, but I believe in God. And I turned around and I said, you know what? I said, I forgive everybody that has done me wrong in my life. I said, this is going to change my life. And I forgive everybody. And I please God, let them forgive me the crimes that I've done to them. Because I'm not an innocent boy, you know, I'm a human being. And that's what, after that, I made it my duty not to hate anybody, irrespective, except the Liverpool Oaks. No, I'm just joking.
So that was almost like a spiritual moment for you. That was like a moment of connection.
It was absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It was you know, you say 2012, the gold medal. No, that was the thing. That was the defining. That changed me because I'm a naughty boy. You know, I used to work in clubs, so I'm a very naughty boy. I used to be a naughty boy. Now I'm a little bit good boy. You know, I am. You know how I used to be and how I grew up. I grew up naughty. You know, now I'm a quarter decent guy. You know, just quarter. You're quarter. Please believe me. No, but that changed me. I promise you that changed me. Because, you know, it's something, I mean, I hope you guys have the pleasure of one day watching your son win a gold medal or a world championship. It's mind-boggling. So we arrived back, we went at 1 o'clock in the morning. The SASCOC guys, the governing body of sports, they all said, the president and whatever, said, no, listen, where are you guys going? We want to take you for drinks to London. He says, there's a taxi. There's a there, you catch, we're taking you and bring. I brought another guest of ours, one of the parents that swam in the relay in London. And I said, well, come with us, Gail. And we went and we got in the taxi and we went to the hotel. They opened the bar, they got a chef in, and they made us calamari, all of us, and we started drinking neat whiskey. Anyway, we get home to our apartment where we were staying at about 4:30 in the morning. But I'm telling you, morto means morto.
Yes.
Now we are sitting like this. And the message comes. Congratulations. Bing, 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 bing. You know, now, bing, bing, bing. Everybody's phoning me from South Africa. Bah, 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 bah. Oh, my God. What can I tell you? We never slept. We sat on our beds and we sobbed till I really don't know what time. It was truly, truly unbelievable. I'm going to tell you, I'd like to really write it all down, what happened that day and how it happened. And that night, I think the experience that we had is 1 billion% the one and only. Nothing will come close to it ever again.
Bert, what was Bert like before Bert became a father? I get the impression you've said lots of things, that you've done lots of
naughty
things.
Boy was
naughty and not an angel. naughty and not an angel was used. Do you think it was, and you've just spoken now about almost a religious experience, so to speak, or a spiritual experience. Would you say that becoming a father was a turning point in leaving behind some of your bad ways, or was that, and I say bad ways, I don't know what you did, or was it further along when something else pivotal happened and you're like, actually, I want to realign where I'm going and how I interact with my children?
Look, I must remember I was a father from 20 years old.
Oh, well, this is why I'm saying to become a father so early is...
Yeah, I was a naughty young boy. I was working in clubs and that, I was a naughty boy. But you know what? I always, my children came first. I never had a car. I'd walk from my house to a mate of mine when we were divorced, walk all the way 5-6 k's, borrow a car to go fetch my daughter. She knows that, and I know that. That's one thing, whatever anybody accuses me of, go tick, yes, Bert did it. Except with the children.
Uh-huh.
Everything else, I say I did it. I'm wrong. But when it concerns my kids, and even your kids, you know what? It's simple, that's just for me anyway. That's for me. It's always been like that, and it will never change. I mean, what happened was, when I say about in 2010, that was me forgiving other people, and then of course asking for my forgiveness. But that's not whatever I did or didn't do, or naughty boy, was never when I was with my kids. Kids go, hey, please. No drinking, no nothing. Come, Oh, no, guys, put the kids to the bars. Sit there in the bar. Then slug it up. Even now. I said, what are you doing this like here? I'm 10 years old. I went to a fight one night. I was at the Stella Club, and I'm having a few drinks and chatting, just won a lot of medals at the Commonwealth Games. And I was celebrating with a cousin of mine, and this young girl comes. It was 11:15, 11:45. And the youngster came over, and she came to me and said to me, oh, my boy's 15. He wants to be an athlete like your son. Da, 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 da. So I said, oh, really? I said, can he come and talk to you, please, Bert? I said, pleasure. So I went like this, I was sitting on the chair, and they were outside, and some of the guys were smoking, and I went like this. It was 11:45. And I said, my boy, what are you doing here at 12 o'clock at night? It's Friday night. Tomorrow it's training or whatever you're running. He was an athletics, So my mom, I said, young lady, you can't bring your son here. I said, my boy, listen to me carefully. You're 15 or 14. I said, you want to be a hobo like all of us here? Like that. Us. I said, you don't want to be like us, drinking like this, my boy. This is the worst thing could ever happen to anybody, to start this nonsense. And he said, oh, thank you, Mr. le Clos. No one got up. And he said, hey, who the F, whatever. And of course, boom, bang, shagalang. He finished, but it is what it is. And I said to the guy, I said, but I was trying to illustrate to this young boy, to not be like us, including me. I said, but it is what it is. Anyway, so that's for me, it's not a defining moment. It's when I'm with my kids, I'm different. When I'm jollying and all that, I'm also different. When I'm with my friends or with guys or whatever, Then it's all over now.
You make it sound like it was a very natural thing. Like it just, the moment your children arrived, you made that switch. But for a lot of people, for a lot of men, it seems like quite a mental hurdle to put their previous selves, their previous lives aside for their children. How did you make that jump?
Hey, maybe I got a lot of my mother's blood. I don't know. I had a great mother. Jesus, don't make me cry now. I'm talking about my mother, for flip's sake. No. Listen, I am very, oh, my God. If I have a few drinks, we talk about my mother. Oh, I used to just look at her and cry when she was alive. I swear to God. I swear. Look, no. Look, for me, and I'm going to tell you, it's absolutely, they absolutely been number one in my life from 19 years old. Now, put that in your pipe, smoke it, take it whatever way you like it. I promise you. And if you ask any of my kids, they will tell you. 100%. 100%. But you must remember, I love my kids. I'm not in love with them. There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference, guys. You know, I see a lot of people, they are in love with their kids. And they are God. No, they're not God. These are devils. I don't trust them, not one, but they all can hear me. I don't trust them. And they're old now. And I'm still on their backs to try to get them in the correct way.
As Terence is also saying, so many men come into fatherhood, some of them not quite sure what to do once they get here. They're hoping things are going to fall into place. Then come the financial pressures. Then they let go of their friends. Then they don't get to do their physical things anymore by going exercising and playing games. And then they start to fear that they're losing their personality, and they buck against that completely and then start to shun any of the other family responsibilities. In terms of your physical well-being, Bert, how did you maintain any form of physical, looking after yourself physically, if I can put it to you that way?
There's kids' time, and then there's your time. But I mean, you know, you when do you want your time? I mean, when do you want your time? You can't have your time from 2 p.m. when you finish school till 7, 8 o'clock at night. You can't have. Otherwise, snip it. Don't make children. That's my point. Don't make children. If you're not going to give them the time of the day, don't make children. They're not easy. Don't make children. Don't make children. You know. You know.
Yeah.
But now, I'm 7 years old. Hey, they're demanding those bloody things, man. Hey.
And yet, you know, you say that, and yet it's clear from the way you talk about them. You know, you call them devils. You call them, you know, you say you don't trust them at all. But you did say, you know, you love them. You're not in love with them. Woo! But it seems that being a father has brought you real. And I don't want to sound condescending, so please, if I am, just tell me to shut the hell up. But it seems like being a father has brought you real joy and maybe like a sense of purpose.
Absolutely.
And like a direction. Absolutely. That you maybe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I moan. I'm like an old woman. I'm moaning today. I'm getting clipped tonight, and have a look at my story. It is what it is. And then I'm going to cook them another piece just now. When you finish this here, the 2 extra big pieces, it's there for them, for the 2 boys. And no, I moan about it too. Jerry still said to me, why are you moaning? My wife said, why are you moaning all the time? I said, because I do moan. But no. It's giving me it is my purpose in life. I'm telling you, nothing, 0 comes before my kids. 0. And my grandkids. 0. Nothing. I'm telling you, nothing. I promise you.
Bert, I know you do everything in your power to get to any of their events and their things. What happens if 2 of them have something on the same day?
Well, you know, you have. Well, it is what it is, and sometimes it happens. So you have to look at prioritize and say, well, just say Jordan and Chad. If it's Chad's stupid little gala and he's doing a competition, I'm sorry, I'm going to Jordan. I promise you. You know, if it's a stupid ballet and Chad's swimming a gala, I'm going to go Chad's gala. But if it's the ballet and it's the one of the end of the year, I can't be there. I'll be there afterwards. What time does she go? Does her routine, my granddaughter, and then I'll shoot, get in the car and say, I can't wait. She saw me in the audience and I'd shoot.
You squeeze in as much as you possibly can. You're definitely there for them. That's commendable. You win a gold medal for that.
Well, I don't want the gold medal. I don't care. It's my duty, man. It's your duty as a father.
Yeah. If we got personal here, I feel exactly the same way. I have a daughter that has epilepsy and needs physiotherapy and occupational therapy and speech therapy, and I prioritize that for myself. I'm there as often as I possibly can be. That's exceptionally important to me. So everything you're saying resonates, and it's exactly how I feel. And I know there are people that would listen back to it and go, but you're superhuman. How can you possibly do that? And to me, it's
you're
more
just a dad.
You're just I'm a regular person, and all I'm doing is prioritizing. I don't consider myself or anybody else to be superhuman. You're making it work with the time that we have on this planet and the time we have together. And I want her to know that I was always there. And I think that's exactly the same as what you're saying. You're always there. You can rely on me, right?
Absolutely. And you know, I said this also in the one gala that I spoke to at Blue Downs, as it turns out. And I said, when you see somebody swimming in the gala and they look up, there's their dad or their mom or their auntie, whatever, brothers, whatever. I promise you, they'll want to win. They'll want to do better. And if you have a look, everybody is first, second, and third. The parents are in the audience. But you know what? It doesn't make any difference.
But I guess to kind of I don't want to say wrap it up necessarily, because it's, I don't want to.
No.
I feel like I do need to come to your place and grab a couple of beers and sit and have a proper
anytime
and talk about your mom and
do
all those things.
Won't be a couple, it'll be plenty.
It'll be plenty.
If you come to my place, it'll be plenty.
I might need to have a sleepover bag, but the way you talk about parenting, it's very similar to the way professional athletes talk about their training. It's when they talk about, yes, we've won the Champions League, lifting the trophy, or getting the gold medal, or any of these things. We see that moment, but so many times I've had athletes say, like, yeah, you don't see when I was 10, waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning and running. And I think the way you talk about father, you can enjoy now the success of not just having successful children, but being a successful father, having a good relationship with your children, being able to say now, my kids know what kind of dad I'm like because I've done the work, because you've been doing it since you've been 19.
Yeah.
So we might see Bert, the great successful dad whose kids can rely on him and they know what he's about, but that's been decades of work that you've put in.
Yes, but also in that category, because my wife has just walked in, she's sitting on the corner, so I've got to talk nicely about her. You see, but look, with all due respects, also, you have to have a good partner in all this. She, to be honest, I think she helped me a hell of a lot. In that aspect of life. And. It's been 37 grinding years. Gee whiskers. Hell, I need a gold medal. Never mind her. But anyway, she's been a great help, She's been a great help. And I think we've learned from each other, but at the end of the day, you must want to do it, brother. You as a father must want to do it. It's not, it's not about your friends. You made that child, and you know what? Then you must look after it, Mm-hmm. Some people, they and I want to say this, and some people treat their dogs better than their children. Me, let me not go there. This business of pop culture and, no, I've got to go with my friends. And, for me, there's no such thing. And I wish a lot of parents, I wish they would do the same. There would be a lot less crime out there, a lot less youngsters on the street,
Letting their kids be the cool kids.
Yeah, letting their kids, my wife just said, letting their kids be the cool kids. Me, no cool kids here, but no cool kids. You know what? Can be a cool adult if you like.
Wow, you have dropped so many pearls of wisdom in like 50 minutes, but that's been amazing. Jerry around the corner, we can hear your giggles. Hi Jerry.
Hello Jerry.
Hi Jerry. Thank you for lending your family to us for
yes,
an hour.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Your home looks lovely, by the way.
No, this is Chad's home.
Oh, is that
We're
Chad's
in Cape
place?
Town.
Oh, you're in Cape Town? Okay.
We squatters, yeah. We squatters, yeah. Myself, Jerry, and Jordan are squatters. That's the big boss inside there. We go back on Monday. We go back to Durban on Monday. I haven't seen my grandkids for nearly 2 months. I cannot wait. Only person I got a present for, her. Nobody else. Now, one last quick one. You know how she was made? In Rio, my daughter doesn't want no more children. She's got at that time, she had 11-year-old, 9-year-old, 2 boys. No more kids, Dad. She's 39 years old. I want no kids. We arrive, we have 1.5 months, her and her husband, We left the kids with my ex-wife to look after them. We have a good job there, and lovely time we had in Rio. What a great time, thanks. And they get back to Durban, and Sunday comes, that 1 month's time, Sunday comes. Dad, I want to talk to you. After my second bottle of wine, I said, what do you want to say, Bianca? No, nothing. Next weekend, I start drinking. She said, no, Dad, before you start, I want to talk to you. She starts bubbling. I said, what's wrong? I'll kill Pedro. the husband. And he said, no, Daddy, I'm pregnant. I can't afford it. I'm 39 years old. I said, Bianca, God gives you certain gifts in life. And you know what? What can I tell you? She is my gift of gifts. She hates me. Well, she doesn't hate me, but she uses me like I'm a slave. Come and push me, Champy. Have you bought me a chocolate? Like that. Every day I buy her a chocolate, which is donuts, and every day I buy her a present. She told me last night, Jampy, when are you coming? I want to go to the fun fair, and where's my chocolates and where's my present? Take the present out the bag like a brat and show her the little doll from Naples. Anyway. for Rio. And of course, your name is Rio. She was manufactured in Rio by accident. Her name is Rio. If it was a boy or a girl, it would be Rio.
Would have been Rio.
So this year around, thank God for COVID, because there was nobody going to the Olympics. Can you imagine the next one comes out Tokyo?
Bert, before we let you go and get back to your family again, one more question from my side had to do with parents of potential, well, actually not even potential potential champions, just parents that have got kids attending things. How do you prevent yourself as a parent from putting pressure on said child so that they continue to enjoy the activity?
You know what, guys? Let the coach do the job. And interfere is one thing, but to push your child when he's small like this, there comes a time where you can now push him when he's 13, 14, 15, whatever. And you know what, like I said, no one knows if your son is going to be a good swimmer, jiu-jitsu, boxing, rugby, cricket. You don't know. They all play all the different sports. And when they get to a certain age, and that's really the time to push it. And you know what? You can ask anybody you like. Come Friday night. I had parents, these parents now, especially in the swimming world, they were doing, when Chad was young, they didn't swim after 16. They were doing the same work as the Terence Parker, if you know Terence Parker, the death athlete. He was 24 Olympic and silver medalist, and the 12-year-old little girl was doing as much work, if not more, than a 23-year-old. And I said to the parent, I said to him, Robbie, his name was Robbie. I said, Robbie, what are you doing? I said, are you crazy? I said, your daughter is doing more work than a 23-year-old. Are you crazy? So if your son is 12 years old and you're doing more work than the springboard, why don't you make him tackle the beast? But it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. And I see it now. They want these sons to become professional. Oh, take this juice. 12 years old. There's your juice. Recovery. You can't have a glass of Coke. You can't go to a party on Friday. There's a guy who said, guys, he's 12 years old. Let him go and have a juice. There's a party. You got a party. You got a family party. Go there. Don't say, oh, you got to be in bed. I've had people leave my house. Oh, I've got to take Josh to go to sleep at 9 o'clock because he's got a gala tomorrow. He's 12 years old. We had another parent come, one of the kids come to stay with us. These kids, by the way, stopped swimming. They stopped swimming at 16, 15, 16. The other kid came there and he said, no, I can't have him at your house anymore because he's been drinking Coke and now he's tired. 12 years old. The next day, I fetch him from my house at like 9 o'clock in the morning. He's got to go home and rest because he's got to train on Monday. Well, he never went past 15, that guy. Mm-hmm. And you know, these guys were all up there with Chad. Some of them beating him sometimes. And I've seen it, especially in the swimming world. Go and ask any swimming parents. Just ask them. Go and see them training. Say, how much you train? Oh, no, he's training. And you'll see them training them after school. The parents take them. And the strictness of a 12-year-old. How do you expect? You make him a professional before he's done. You expect him to be fast? So then why are you bothered to send your son to university if he's clever?
Yeah.
Send him to nursery school and then junior school and then high school. Take him straight out of junior school and put him with the accounting firm and let him start work. It's pathetic. Yeah. It's pathetic, brother. And that's the reality, especially in swimming.
More pearls of wisdom. Yes, as a former swim coach, I saw many a parent taking the child after training and then training them further. And I was like, How on earth are you supposed to get anything right if you keep undermining all the work we're putting in?
Absolutely. But also the extra work. Work that you're giving. And not allowing your son to be a boy. Your daughter's got to be a girl. She's got to be a little boy. Whatever. And then, they say, oh, I was a soccer player. Let me choose soccer. No, the sport will choose. Maybe you're a boxer and your son or your daughter he plays tiddlywinks or chess. What you going to do? Yeah. Tell him. You look like a nice violin. That Liverpool violin.
but I mean, you're right. It's.
I love your hair.
Thanks. I grew it myself.
What do you think of mine, Bert?
I like your hair even more.
Mine fell out due to stress, I think.
This is what you call the Jekyll and Hyde of hairs.
Yes, very much. Very much. Can you believe he's got headphones under that? You can't see them.
I'm wearing headphones.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's all there. It's all there.
I thought this was your mic. You love. Show my wife, please.
Yeah, here we go, Jerry. That's my headphones. It's all sorted. Yeah.
Beautiful, eh?
Yeah. My mom used to experiment with new conditioners on my hair, and I think that's why it's the way. But just off that, I know I said I had no more questions, but off what you were saying, it seems to be that making sure that your children still had a love for the thing that they were passionate for is important to you, and you didn't want to undermine that.
Absolutely.
They must love their sport too.
They must love their sport, and they must love all sport. Make sure that they love the sport. Make sure that they. And you know what? He doesn't want to go training today. Don't force the oak to go to training. I've seen that. See the kids come like they want to kill people. This guy here, he never went to training for 6 months. Eventually, after 6 months, I said, Jordan. I said to him, you know what, Jordan, you don't want to swim. I'll stop you swimming. About a month later, he says to me, Dad, why you stop me swimming? I said, you never went for 6 months. And then I signed him up again. And then he started swimming again. And then he stopped whenever he stopped. But what I mean is, that's the truth. If your son doesn't want to go, what are you forcing him to go for? Yeah, well, do all other sports. You heard the boss.
Yeah.
Do all other sports and find the one that they love.
100%.
Sometimes sport will choose your son. You won't say, oh, my son is a good sportsman. He's going to play cricket. No. He might not even play cricket. He might play whatever. And that, the sport will choose him. That's what Chad forgot to tell him. The sport chose him. I looked at him and think, they're going to break the skinny legs and their flat feet. He's not going to make it in football. He is a good player because he plays with his heart. He plays with his heart. But really, he's not going to make it when he gets bigger. He's got these terribly flat feet. So the next thing was either at McDonald's with that clown thing, or swimming. So he chose swimming, thank God.
It's worked out well for him. It sure has.
Yeah, it definitely is. And for me.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Have You Asked Your Dad? And a big thanks, of course, to Mr. Le Clos, Bert himself, who really did give us a lot of his time to talk to him through all of those questions that we just don't really get to ask dads. If there's a question that you think we should be asking dads, you can send that through to our Instagram account. Just search for Have You Asked Your Dad, or send it through to our email account, hyaydpod@gmail.com. That's hyaydpod@gmail.com. And your question could be in an episode very, very soon. Thanks for listening. We'll chat to you soon. Cheers for now.